Good morning, good afternoon, and a very happy Friday, guys. We did it. We have made it to the end of the week, and I was expecting T-shirt historian today, but it looks like somebody else has joined. I am honoured to welcome for the first time Lord Baphomet.
Yes, greetings. Hello, all my fans, all of my wonderful fans out there. It is so good to see all of you today. Welcome to my show. And look, we have the lovely purple Valkyrie on today. Hello, my dear, how are you?
Hello, it is a honor and a privilege, and I gotta admit, I'm a little bit nervous. This is the first time we've actually spoken one-on-one.
Well, as you'll find, I can be very, very cordial. I mean, after all, I have to get people to sign contracts every once in a while.
Absolutely. Everybody in the chat is going wild for you, Lord Baphomet. We've said, it says, Ghost Rider, it's not a poopus. It's great to see you. Leaky says, the devil?
Yes, and let's be clear, all right? First off, I am Lord Baphomet. I am not that other guy with the horns, you know, the Satan fellow. That's someone else, okay? I am Lord Baphomet.
Daniel believes you. He says, it seems like a straight up and decent guy. No sus here at all. Absolutely. And look, how could you not trust that face?
Yes, look, they got me a proper demonic background this time. Look, he's got the candles summoning, so they got the pentagram wrong. It's supposed to be the other way, but, you know, go pentagram.
Just gonna flip it round. It'll be fine. But
Yes.
it is so good to have you. So good to see you. Says Brandon says, wait, what the hell is the Baphomet doing here?
Baphomet, Brandon. Baphomet.
Do you get that a lot? Do you get that a lot? People mispronouncing your name?
You know, it happens all the time lately. I think it's something to do with the cotton connection. You know, it's every time I go in there now, it's like, bath mat. I'm like, do I look like a bath mat, really? Really? Do I look like something you step on?
No, not at all. In fact, before I saw what you looked like, I didn't realize you were so adorable.
Why, thank you. Thank you. You're quite adorable yourself.
Let me say hello to the chat proper whilst our guest relaxes. So we have got both Brandon and D-Bird Martin. Great to see you guys. We have got Lord Duff. Great to see you. We've got Macony Draws. Hello, my love. Good morning. We've got the lovely Sherry. She says good morning. And good morning to Lord Baphomet. Let's see, we've got Snorterpoopers, our favourite polar bear. Hello, and good to see you. We've got Salty Texas, good morning. We've got Silverlock, great to see you, as always. Hello there. We've got Daniel. Hello.
Salty Texas. How do you like your show, Salty?
Yes, you guys played a little bit of a trick on him the other day, didn't you?
It was glorious. And oh, somebody's ringing the phone over here. Would you get that, my assistant? Thank you. Sorry, very, very busy here in hell.
Yes, I can imagine there's a lot of coming and going.
Mostly a lot of coming, you know. I'm looking forward to getting the entire, British Commons and the United States House of Assembly and a few other members who signed contracts down here. I have some special torments in mind for
them. I can imagine. Speaking of Salty, let me say a huge thank you to the super sticker he sent, and it's a red devil face. I'm guessing that's in your honor.
I thank you, Salty, and I look forward to being on your show again and making you thousands and thousands of more subscribers.
And Stunning and Brave Megatron, great to see you, says, who's furry?
Well, I'm a bit furry, yes. I mean, it kind of comes with the territory. I'm actually more hairy than furry, but that's fine. What? Rabbit?
Who's the white rabbit with the devil voice? That Lord Baphomet's a goat, of course.
Those are horns, you
see. And a big thank you to Macony, says, I keep mistaking you as Lord Baphomet. but you're not an epic dragon.
Oh, Bahamut. Oh, he's fictional. Dragons are fictional. You know, somebody needs to tell Puff that he's fictional. Dragons don't exist. He's just a figment of somebody's imagination.
Thank you so much, Makani. Great to see you as always. Great to see everybody this morning. Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it. We've got a couple of topics to talk about today, and I wanted to have a nice chill stream and get to talk to some very special guests. Salty. It says never, no more bath mats, trolls, gators, penguins, or blue pink bastards getting past my security. I think he's changed the locks.
You know, we have ways of getting to you. It doesn't matter how many locks you put up. You know, the right summoning circle, the right candles. You know, look at there's several illustrative manuals. You can learn all about it just by the books.
I think that perhaps in the future there is going to be a recurrence of the Cotton Connection turning up.
That would be good. That Snowdog needs a lot of new fans. He's criminally undersubscribed. All of them are.
He is, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Same with a certain historical t-shirted gentleman, absolutely, who does a fantastic show as well.
Oh, t-shirt? That you want to talk about that wimp? That loser?
Just quickly, let me say a very huge thank you and a warm welcome to our newest berserker. Zodwriter has joined us, another gentleman who does a fantastic channel, really up to date, especially when it comes to the DC side. So great to have you, and thank you. Good morning. Great to see you as always. And we also have, oops, it skipped on me. A new member who was joined. It's Leaky. Thank you so much, Leaky. Great to see you as always. Leaky is a great friend as well. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for joining.
Yes, Leaky, you can have $1 million. I will get you a contract. You can sign it. Just, sign it to Lord Baphomet, your eternal friend and soul. Thank you very much.
See, he doesn't ask for much. It's just a soul,
Yeah, what are you doing with it? You when you're dead, you're not having use for it. I will enjoy having it, though. Do you like Batwoman episodes? I have so many new seasons to show you.
Oh, dear. See, eternal torment awaits.
Yes. We're already working on Last of Us 3 down here.
Well, funnily enough, that's actually one of the topics we're going to cover in a little bit. But before we do, Daniel, great to see you as always. He has a question for you. He says, how did Baphomet survive the 80s satanic panic?
Oh, the same way that everyone else did. Rock and roll music can never die.
And I believe that T-shirt Historian is a big fan of tabletop gaming, so he would have known all about the satanic panic and would have had to weather that as well.
Indeed.
Absolutely. Thank you, Daniel. Great to see you as always. So, guys, one of the things that I wanted to cover today, and I'm sure Lord Baphomet will know all about this because we're talking about a company that I think is pretty much the embodiment of evil at the moment. But apparently, Disney are shocked that their overpriced Star Wars hotel has failed so badly. And I found this article that I wanted to bring up, which I thought was pretty funny. So the article says, why did the Star Wars hotel flop? Disney is desperate to find out. Now, I'm sure that it's going to be a case of everybody has an opinion as to why it flopped. But before we go into the article, was this something that you were interested in? Are you a Star Wars fan, or did you think that this was a terrible idea from the beginning?
My dear, how do you think they keep hiring that horrible Kennedy woman? Yes. Torment eternal.
That makes perfect sense now. It's all falling into place.
As to why this failed, I imagine the $20 drinks and the bunk beds probably had something to do with it. I mean, after all, you bring your significant other to one of these super expensive hotels, and then you have to sleep in bunk beds? Really? Who wants to do that?
Yes, it was a very bizarre setup, and I think the rooms, when we actually saw them, they were tiny, tiny. They were smaller than the cabins that they have on their cruise ships. It was bizarre, and for the price of what you were getting for what you were paying for, I think it put an incredible number of people off. Plus the backlash that continued, I think, did not help.
Well, honestly, you like I said, you bring your significant other to one of these things, and you try to do your Chewbacca furry dance in the bunk, and you're bumping your head against the wall on both sides and up and down, and maybe there's somebody sleeping in the compartment above you going, "Could you hold it down there?" You're making Wookiee noises, and it's very distracting. Like, seriously. Or maybe those Gamorrean guard noises. I don't know. I mean, pigs, whatever.
The mind boggles. Just quickly, Jaden Hamilton has a question for you, Lord Baphomet. He says, how many Nephilims have you hunted to try and become a full angel by blessing from the Creator himself? That's some deep lore.
Well, I do have a few ex-angels down here with the rest of them, and all I can say is, well, we don't talk about what we do to them down here. It's kind of a PG-13 subject, and we don't want to get her canceled. But let's just say that it involves rubber, whips, and a lot of lube.
We might have to discuss this in the green room after the show.
Ooh, delightful.
And Stunning and Brave Megatron, I think, has hit it. He said, why did it flop? Because it didn't have Twi'lek Strip Club. I would imagine that would have actually helped, to be honest. Yes.
Yes, I know. And well, knowing the way that they don't want the male gaze and the body shaming and all that stuff these days, they probably would have wanted a hot strip club.
But you'd think on paper that this thing would have been a fantastic idea, but yeah, it failed on all accounts. Brandon, good to see you. He says, wait, what? All I see is a bath mat trying to speak to my Lady Purple. Puppets rock, Disney sucks, and say hi to T-shirt for me, bath mat.
T-shirt, look, that anime guy, Brandon, wants me to say hi to you. Yes, hi, T-shirt. It's nice to see you. Yes, now shut up and go sit and cry in your bed.
See, this is the mean side of Lord Baphomet. You think he's sweet and you think he's cordial, but then you get the spikes, then you get the horns.
Well, I'm evil. I'm a demon. I keep trying to tell people I'm a demon. They keep saying you're a bath mat, and I'm like, no, I'm not a bath mat. I'm an evil bath mat, I guess you could say. But no, I'm not a bath mat.
Just can't get any respect these days, can you?
It's so hard for a Lord of Hell to get respect. I think it has to do with public education these days. Something wrong with them. They just don't believe in hell anymore.
Well, that's your job to make them believe again. And Tovia and Tovia, it's again great to see you. He says, damn, the puppets are back.
There was puppets here before?
I have had puppets on in the past, but never had Lord Baphomet. So this is an honor and a privilege.
Thank you. It's my privilege to be here. I appreciate it. And all my fans. All 50,000 of you.
Absolutely, yes. I wish I could say that they were here to see me, but I think they're here to see you, really.
They are all of my fans who like and subscribe to Purple Valkyrie's channel. I command you. There you go.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes. Today, Lord Baphomet. Tomorrow, Nerdrotic.
T.C. Burton says, hail Darth Vader.
Who? Do I sound like James L. Jones to you? I actually think I sound more like Malcolm McDowell,
I could see that. I like Malcolm McDowell. I can kind of see a certain, yes.
That man only gets sexier the older he gets.
And Lord Thuff says, it's a darn puppet uprising. Absolutely. We can never have enough puppets. And hello to nearsighted Cyclops. Good to see you. Good morning. So just jumping back to this Star Wars hotel, they no doubt have come up with quite a few excuses, but it says a year ago in August, word got out that Disney was about to launch a fully immersive Star Wars experience at Disney World. It sounded like the perfect getaway for the Star Wars superfan, but that's not what ended up happening. Of course, we know this. Now, Disney is trying to figure out why the incredibly expensive hotel flopped, and the company is spending even more money, because that's what Disney does, to find out why. So instead of taking it as a loss and maybe perhaps lowering the cost to get in, or extending the stay, or doing something to kind of tie it in with the cost of the tickets. If you buy tickets, you get to stay there for a night, or something to kind of mitigate the price. No, what they are going to do is throw even more money at this thing to do a survey to find out why it failed.
They're really stupid these days, aren't they? I mean, have you noticed that Disney mostly just makes apologies for everything and excuses for everything? Oh, our show failed because of the male gaze. Oh, our show failed because the demographics were wrong. Oh, our park is failing because we don't know. What? Spider-Man made all this money? How come? We don't know. Why? Why does this keep happening? Why?
It's a mystery, isn't it? And it's one, if they listen to the fans, I'm pretty sure that we could tell them why, but they are determined to do things their own way. Now, Disney is a company, and companies at their heart want to make money, or at least you think that that's the case. But we've seen it not only with the parks, with this hotel, but we're seeing it with the entertainment that they're putting out as well.
It's funny because I am more entertaining than anything on Disney right now, and I am even less creative than most of their creatives. I mean, look at me. I'm a demon goat. I've been around since, millennia, and look at me. I'm so much better. Look at, see? Fans.
Fans, exactly.
You're here watching me and not watching Ms. Marvel, right?
Give the people what they want, and what
Yes.
people want is a little demonic goat. Absolutely.
Yes.
Silverlock's got a great point as well. It says using original trilogy characters and it skipped on me. Not lock you in the hotel for 2 days would have gone away. Absolutely, yes, because they were so set on guiding people, and it was this supposed to be immersive situation that you were in, and you were supposed to kind of role play, which puts people in kind of a difficult situation if people don't really want to do that. If you just wanted to kind of hang out and just enjoy the Star Wars experience, it's very, very strange.
I seem to recall they tried something similar to this with a Star Trek experience many years ago, and what happened to that hotel? Oh, it flopped also? It also went out of business? Amazing! What made you possibly think this was going to work, Disney, you morons?
Absolutely. Great to see everybody. Zonwriter says #Disney is a company. They used to be. Yes, now they're just falling over themselves.
It's a collective of idiots trying to sell you garbage you don't need, with the creative genius of this backboard.
And Brandon, I absolutely agree. He says wrong in quotations roleplay for 6K. The roleplay had better be something else.
Damn
well,
right.
That goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Absolutely, probably
Yes.
not what Disney would have in mind, but I'm pretty sure it would have been a lot more popular.
Well, for 6K, they better have women in tight things and St. Andrew's crosses and oils and other interesting things. 6K. For 6K, that lightsaber better do more than just light up. You know what I mean?
And hello, Stick Kenobi, great to see you. Says, hope you're doing well. I am doing very well today. I've got a very special guest with me, as you can see. And the chat is absolutely lighting it up. Yep, 6K roleplay. Yes, indeed. Is there any way that either you yourself or T-shirt historian would have ever considered going to this? Was it something that they could ever entice you to do, or would you have stayed away completely because it wasn't something you were interested in?
Oh, well, T-shirt's piss broke. He can't even afford a decent background for me. Look at this is cardboard. What is this crap? T-shirt is just so cheap. It's not his fault. He doesn't make any money. He's probably not monetized, but And me? No, I wouldn't go there. Are you kidding me? I would wander into the place and they would think I was an Ewok or some crap and have 5-year-olds drooling and wanting to hug me. How disgusting.
Yes, get sticky fingers all over that nice white fur. Absolutely.
Yes. You know who else leaves me sticky? All the people at Cotton Connection. They don't clean up. They're gross.
I wondered where you were going with that. I'm so glad that's where you went.
Yes. Every time I do a show over there, I have to end up cleaning my fur for 2 days because they're so sticky. I'm being nice about it. I could be worse. I mean, it just grows.
Just say no. Absolutely. Day to Basic, good to see you. It says Disney's just another toxic company, in my opinion, doesn't get a penny from me nor my time. I think that seems to be the way a lot of people have gone, especially in the last 10 years or so. Absolutely. But I just thought it was very funny that even though they have now had to concede that this has failed, their answer to this is to throw even more money at this in the focus groups to try and find out why. Whereas what they could do is just have maybe, I don't know, ask people in the parks or have a look on Twitter, or there's got to be some easier way to gauge people's opinions. But they don't really want actual people's opinions, and that's the problem. It's the same with the TV shows, it's the same with the films. They do not want negative feedback.
Have you noticed that there's always kind of a little yes men kind of group sort of thing, like with that Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power thing? They brought in all the super fans, all of those people. I don't think a single one of them had ever read a single Tolkien book to begin with.
I did, funny enough, yes. We've talked about that in the past. Do you think they were going after the shills rather than people who would give a actual opinion?
Answer that phone, minion. They're paid actors, all of them. Paid actors. I swear, all of them.
Sultan Al Fahim, hello, good to see you, says absolutely yes, they want the super fans. Yes, they do. And hello, Leia Rose, good to see you, lovely. Jaden says, Lord Baphomet, why are you so cute? Shouldn't you be scary?
I'm not scary to you. Really? Idiot. Go get the... Excuse me one moment.
Of course. Let's see what else you guys have got to say. Leaky, great to see you. Ms. Marvel was fun, but Disney didn't make a penny from me. I've heard people say it's actually a pretty good show, but I haven't watched it because I'm kind of Disneyed out at the moment after Moon Knight. But I will also concede that Ms. Marvel is probably not aimed at me anyway. So I will let anybody who's enjoying that show just enjoy it. I would never say to people, don't watch because it's something that I'm not interested in.
Well, why is it not aimed at you? Aren't you a female?
Yes, but I think I'm in the wrong age demographic, perhaps. I'm not, say, a 14-year-old.
You. If we're talking about Disney, Ms. Marvel, and the age brackets, I'm going to say this. I may be an evil demon, but the only grooming I do is on my fur.
Yes, Disney have got a big problem with that at the moment. One that they
can't keep their hands off the kiddies. Ugh.
Desperately trying to avert people's gaze from and not look into too much. NB Geek, good to see you. Good morning. He says, how are we failing in movies like Top Gun? A sequel of a 35-year-old movie is working. How is that possible? Fans, one of life's little mysteries. Absolutely. Have you seen Top Gun Maverick?
Oh yes, brilliant show. And they're trying to get it off now. Apparently they're bringing up lawsuits against the Top Gun sequel, trying to say things about original ownership and rights and all this other stuff. Everybody's trying to cash grab on the success. Just leave Tom Cruise alone. Leave him alone.
You know what? I couldn't agree more. And I wasn't a huge fan of Top Gun, but I watched the film and I was thoroughly impressed. I thought it was not only a great sequel, but a fantastic film. But you are absolutely correct. And so is MB Geek. Whenever we get a film that seems to go against the narrative, similar to Northman, they want to bury it as quickly as possible and the excuses come out. It's very curious.
Because it doesn't fit the narrative they're trying to sell. Oh, thank you.
Yes, Leah Rose says he looks cuddly. I think you've got another female fan.
Come here, hug me. Yes, hug me.
Oh, and look who has joined us. It is the man himself, Snowdub. Good morning. He says, hey, Baphomet, the floor called and wants you back.
It's Baphomet, Snowdub. How many times do it? You used to get my name right, and then all of a sudden you stopped getting it right, probably because of that idiot GETTR. Goblins. Stupid.
You know what? I did actually wonder where the confusion came from, because clearly it is spelt correctly when you have your name up. But yes, I think they're just being a little bit mean to you, it seems.
Well, when you're an evil demon lord, everybody wants to be mean to you because you're mean to everybody else. So I take it in stride, They're going to be ignorant, that's fine. And what is it with this phone this morning? Minion, get that.
Clearly, you've got, an influx of people who want to join you.
Do you know how it is here in hell? Everybody's just banging on the gates to get in.
TZ Burton says, Puppet Wars. Yes, I think we're going to have a Cotton Connection throwdown happening in the chat if we're not careful. Leah Rose says, are you a Dalmatian? What breed?
Dalmatian? Do I have spots? Am I spotted? I'm not a Dalmatian. Look, I have horns. I'm a goat.
Complete with the little goat beard as well. Yes.
Yes. Beautiful beard, isn't it?
It is. It's very reminiscent of the one that Jolly has. I've got to admit, is this a precursor, or is this something that's needed to be part of the Cotton Connection?
No, not really. It's like I told him the other day. He looks like he looks like a lollipop, a grape-flavored lollipop or a blueberry-flavored lollipop that someone dropped on a barbershop floor.
Shots fired. But Brandon says puppet lives matter. Absolutely, they do. Lord Thoth in the chat with the puns. It's a goatee.
Indeed it is.
Nearsighted Cyclops. Absolutely. Great to see Pete. Oops, it skipped on me. Let me grab that one quickly. He says, hell seems too dull for me.
What were you expecting? We have sex, we have drugs, we have rock and roll, we have torture, we have, what's not to love? Come, embrace the goat.
It's like all the great things from the 80s that you miss that we don't have now. Yes.
That's true. It's very hard to convince people to come to hell when hell is here on earth, isn't it?
It is, yes. It's like, well, what can you offer people that they aren't already suffering through? That is the challenge. Jolly, Snowdub, great to see you. He says, Baphomet made Jolly watch Batwoman. He's evil, Perp. Is this true? Did you actually make him sit down and watch this?
Oh, yes, it's quite true. If you were wondering where he went those few weeks, yes, I had him down here strapped to a chair. And you see, down here, I have access to a wonderful bevy of writers. We have Ayn Rand, we have L. Ron Hubbard. We have all these people who can write brand new and very boring episodes of Batwoman.
Wow.
So we have
That
just kept the series going down here, and we show it to people to torment them. And maybe next year we'll get the license for Star Wars, and we'll make some more Star Wars movies down here that we can torment people with and destroy your fandoms even more.
given the way that the fandoms are heading, I would say you have your work cut out for you, but
Yes.
I have full faith in you. And even Sultan Al Fahim says the evil.
Yes, the evil. Embrace it.
Good morning, that 70s rock fan. Hello, guys. You guys are great to see everybody this morning. TPC Burton says, Hal sounds like Cleveland. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Yes, we're a step up from Detroit.
And Leia Rose asks, is Disney your franchise in Hades?
Well, I will say that we do have a magical, quote-unquote, kingdom down here.
I will leave that one open to your imaginations, chatter. But I'm sure if you need clarifying, Lord Baphomet would be more than happy to have a one-on-one consultation with you. Now Brandon's getting in on. He says now Detroit is hell on earth.
And if you think that's bad, go to Gary, Indiana.
Wow, shots fired. See, now Pete's turned around and says, tempting if I can only get to be the DJ.
Yes, well, just don't put on any of that future pop. You draw the line at that.
Oh god, you guys are awesome. You guys are brilliant. Let me just pull up something else that I wanted to cover today. Well, we've got our very special guest with us, and I am very grateful that he's taken time out to talk to us. Let me ask you, I know you're very busy, obviously, raining hell and, tormenting sinners and people that deserve it or don't deserve it. But do you ever get any downtime? Do you get to play, say, video games?
Oh, that's more... Well, actually, hold on a moment. Minion, get that for me. Yes, thank you. Bring that here. Yes, as you can see, I have my own controller.
That's a big controller. That's quite impressive that you can use that.
It works, you see.
So I will say that as a yes, that you are a gamer at heart. That's good to know.
Yes.
But what I wanted to ask is one of the games that was incredibly popular that people have really loved before we got the sequel, of course, I will add, was The Last of Us. Now, I was a big fan of the game. I thought it was a lot of fun to play. I thought the characters were wonderful. I loved the dynamic. Great game. But we now know that there is going to be a remake coming in September. Do you think that this is going to be something people are going to be excited about, or do you think that the abject failure of the second game is going to tarnish that?
Well, let me ask you, Purple.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had a rusty nail driven through your foot and enjoyed it so much that you'd like to have it driven through again?
I can't say I have, but I'm not a masochist. So.
Exactly. You're a sensible person, and only a sensible person would want to play or not play these games anymore, because Last of Us has clearly missed the boat. I mean, a remaster of the original. Clearly a cash grab.
Mm-hmm.
Better graphics. That's nice. Better graphics. What was wrong with the graphics in the first one?
Yes.
Were you just playing it for the graphics, or were you playing it for the good story? Because the story was good in the first one.
It really was, and this isn't like this is a particularly old game either. This is, it's not like it's 15 years old and they're bringing it back by popular demand. I think you're absolutely right. I think this is a cash grab, and I think this is a way of deflecting attention from how badly the second game did and kind of reminding people why they love the franchise in the first place.
Exactly. I mean, Capcom is going to remake all the Resident Evils. The next one being 4, of course. Now, there's not a lot of reason to remake Resident Evil 4. I thought the graphics were fine. It looked great. Still plays fine on PC. But if they want to remake it, that's fine. The game's kind of old. And of course, remaking 2 and 3, well, those games were very old. With, 8-bit, 16-bit graphics or whatever. Not great graphics. So, of course, bringing them up to date, great idea. Obviously, just great. Remastering something that's only 10 years old, really? That's kind of like remaking Spider-Man movies again. Oh, never mind.
Oh, wait, yes, or the Disney classics that people know and love, the animated versions, making them into soulless, cash-grabbing live action, in quotations, yes.
Exactly. That wasn't even my idea. I mean, I had actual good ideas. These people who are coming up with ideas at Disney are clearly just... for years, before Disney bought them, Stan Lee, the great Stan Lee, and he's not down here, by the way.
Good.
Stan Lee would call Marvel the House of Ideas, which was so wonderful. And then Disney bought them, and now they are the House of No Ideas. How did that happen?
It does make you wonder. It's as though creativity and being able to come up with new ideas and new inventions and new entertainment has really kind of gone out of the window recently. I can't imagine why that would be.
Probably because you have a bunch of people trying to write and create things based on their personal life experiences, and let's face it, what do these kids know about anything?
Very good point. Yes. There does seem to be a lot of self-inserts, I guess would be the best way to put it as well. We've seen it not only with TV shows, but with comic books.
Dear Diary, today I went out and had a coffee and ate a bagel. Oh, let's put that in the show. People can relate to that. They eat bagels and drink coffee all the time.
And Moons of Madness, good to see you. He says, tell me you're an unimaginative, talentless, uncreative hack without actually telling me you're an unimaginative, talentless, uncreative hack, Druckmann. You too, Disney.
Oh, and look, he's got William Hartnell. Oh, what a blessed person you are. Someone who truly values original, true who. Bravo,
Absolutely.
Sir, bravo.
Yes, Hartnell was first. Absolutely. Southern Viking, great to see you, says the House of Regurgitation.
Indeed,
I like that.
indeed.
I like that. That's pretty good. Snorter Pooper says self-insert equals stick it up your own tailpipe.
With no lube.
Let's see who else we've got. That 70s rock fan. Hello, love. Good morning. He sends us a super chat. So thank you so much. He says, it doesn't seem fair that I should spend my life with beautiful sheep only to spend eternity with goats.
Look. You are surrounded by sheep already. Wouldn't you rather hang out with the goats? I mean, yes, we'll eat everything and, have sex with anything with holes, but other than that, we're much more fun.
Other than that, yeah, that's
I mean, sheep just stand around going, all day. Seriously.
Goats are much more interesting. I will admit, yes. I would definitely agree with that. So they've got a lot more personality. Thank you. That's 70s rock fan. Great to see you. Brandon says, can't stand Sony anymore. Reason I will never get a PS5. Leaky asks what console we would recommend. That's hard to say because I don't have either of the newest versions of the consoles. I would probably guess if you can get one, the PlayStation 5 seems to be the more popular. But as much as I used to love playing games and love gaming, even that as a hobby has dropped off because there is so few games out there that have got my interest now.
That and the fact that you have to sell your soul to buy a PS5. Children, don't go sell your soul to buy a PS5. Sell it to me instead.
Yes, he doesn't promise you a PlayStation 5, but at least he'll look after your soul.
We'll have so much more fun than you will with your PS5. I promise games for eternity.
God, you guys are awesome. Cam, good morning. He says, Baphomet is dead right. Why create new stuff when you can remake the crap that's only a couple of weeks old? Absolutely. Did they think that people just have such short attention spans now that they won't notice, or do they think that we're just consumers rather than fans?
Well, I would definitely say it's just a case of consumerism, you know? It's like, don't question, just buy our crap over and over and over again.
And T-Bud, thank you, sweetheart. He says, I can't sell my soul. It belongs to Purple. Well, I will take excellent care of it. But I'm sure Baphomet would look after it too. He promised.
we have all sorts of games down here, trust me. They may not be the kind of games you enjoy, but I will enjoy them.
Speaking of games, I'm not sure if you're a huge gaming fan, but I know T-Shirt Historian is, and we've spoken in the past when I've been lucky enough to join him on his shows, and he is incredibly knowledgeable about tabletop gaming. Is that something that has also suffered as well?
You know, why don't I go get that limp-wristed wimp? You know, he's much better to talk about this than I am.
I will miss you, Lord Baphomet. You know you always have an open invitation if you'd like to come back.
Why, thank you so much, Purple. And of course, you know, you can come to any of my shows on any channel that I'm on, because they're all my shows.
I think Snowdub or Salty would have something to say about that, but thank you. I appreciate that.
Nobody cares what they say. I'm much more popular than any of them.
And Teasy said it's not often you get to talk with the Dark Lord himself. Pronouns?
Pronouns are goat, him, he, or demon. Yes.
See, I was going to add master or sir as well to that list.
Ooh, master, yes, but only in the bedchamber. Only in the bedchamber.
And Snowdub says, no, Salty, Baphomet is an abuser. I'm not sure what that's in regards to, but I am curious.
He's just upset. hasn't gotten over that Batwoman season 4 episode ender. That one really got him, you know. You ever want to see a blue man cry? Ask him about Batwoman season 4.
He does seem quite mad at you still. He says Baphomet has delusions of grandeur.
I'm a demon. What did you expect?
Well, just going by the chat, it seems that you do have legions of fans, so I will admit that.
Yes. Would you like me to go get that moron for you?
Yes, if T-Shirt Historian is around, I would love to talk to him, but yes.
Hey, idiot, stop sobbing in your corner. Get over here. The nice lady wants to talk to you. Yes, you. Well, take care very much, my dear. It's been a pleasure and an honor. I look forward to seeing you again sometime.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Thank you.
Yes. And stay tuned. Very soon, coming very soon, the Baphomet ASMR video. Yes. Would you like to live deliciously?
I cannot wait. Well, guys, what do you think? It's not every day we get to talk to the Lord of Hell. I've got to admit, I'm quite impressed. I wasn't expecting that, but you never know what you're going to get here on Rise with Purple Valkyrie. And we have another guest joining us. It is the gentleman himself. It is the one and only, the T-Shirt Historian. How are you doing?
Hi, Purple.
Hey.
I'm doing pretty good. Baphomet finally let me get on the microphone.
Yes, I saw he was ordering you around, making you answer his calls, and I'm surprised he didn't make you go get him coffee.
Well, you know, actually, he prefers tea. He's very snooty that way. I don't know.
Clearly, he is a demon of good taste, but I really wanted to talk to you because we've talked in the past, and one thing that I have absolutely zero knowledge of is tabletop gaming, and I know that you are incredibly knowledgeable about that. As a fan, have you noticed the same kind of, I guess, corruption that's kind of seeped in that we've seen with other IPs and other franchises?
Massively. These days, Dungeons and Dragons is still pretty much the king of the role-playing game. They're the ones who are making the most money. They're the most recognized IP. They're the go-to. If you mention tabletop role-playing games, people immediately think Dungeons and Dragons. And unfortunately, these days, it is not really the same Dungeons and Dragons as it was when I started playing, 30 some odd years ago, 38 years ago, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And I'm guessing, and it was brought up earlier on in the chat, they were talking about the Satanic Panic in the 80s. Were you a part of that? Were you gaming back then? Was it as serious as people made it out to be, or was it
definitely?
It was, really.
It was. It kind of depended on where you live. Some people got through it okay. For me personally, I had teachers who would send me to the principal's office to talk about, why I wasn't, working on my subjects in school and reading Dungeons and Dragons books and things. And I had teachers who were literally actively afraid of me because they were afraid because I played Dungeons and Dragons. They thought I would snap and do something nasty, or it was just very uncomfortable. My friends and I, we were pretty much exiles from the rest of the school, who would kind of like sit in our own little corner and play our games and talk about nerdy stuff, and other people just kind of gave us a wide berth, or they would just kind of point and laugh or pick on us and stuff like that. It was ugly. It was a very ugly time.
Oh, so you mean back in the day when actually being a fan of something nerdy could actually get you in trouble, whereas today it's geek chic, I guess, is the best way to refer to it.
Indeed. Growing up, my friends and I, we liked things like Robotech. We liked Dungeons and Dragons. We liked Piers Anthony books. We liked all the stuff that people take for granted and hold up as, IPs to be exploited now, including things like, the Wheel of Time and Tolkien and everything else. Mm-hmm. All the stuff that people like now and like to exploit now are the things that we grew up loving and cherishing with our whole hearts. And we were ostracized and picked on and made to feel inferior because of that.
Yes, and it's kind of funny to see people talk about how, especially things like tabletop gaming, wasn't particularly inclusive. We've seen it. It's supposedly, girls weren't welcome. I would imagine that was not the case. If any girls ever wanted to play, I can't imagine that they would not have been welcomed with open arms.
The truth is, we would have loved it if girls wanted to play with us. But the fact is that, nobody wanted to play with a bunch of, ugly, smelly losers who, played weird stuff and talked about weird things. And, I mean, back then, we could quote to you the stat block of Cthulhu, but we couldn't, we couldn't tell you who the latest boy band idol was or anything like that. And that made us different, weird, and unacceptable on some level. Plus, we all kind of had an unhealthy obsession with heavy metal music back then, too. One of my best friends was really big into Alice Cooper. Mm-hmm. I myself was kind of really big. I've always really been big into Iron Maiden and the whole new wave of British heavy metal that was coming out at that time.
Yeah, see, these sort of things seem to go kind of hand in hand. It was almost kind of going against the system, and I think that's what appealed to a lot of people, especially if it kind of annoyed their parents or if it annoyed the teachers. It was that little bit of kind of rebellion and a little bit of freedom that you had. And it seemed to really kind of bring people together. Tabletop gaming brought like-minded people. I
agree. And it's kind of funny because, this particular iteration of Stranger Things, the season 4, mm-hmm. has never been closer to my heart because, that character, Eddie Monroe, the mm-hmm. GM.
Yes.
That was me and my friends back then. I mean,
Yes, and
we listened to heavy metal music. We were weird. We were different. We had, long hair. We wore jean jackets and stuff like that. I mean, it's like I was too poor to afford putting patches and stuff on all my jackets. So
I love
I would
patches
literally,
on jackets.
yeah, we would take a mark. I would take a marker and like write stuff all over the back of my jackets and, Japanese characters and stuff like that. And people were like, "Oh, what does that mean?" So,
I love that idea. That's a really clever way of getting around it. And Renzira says Stranger Things season 4 references that in its storyline. That is cool. I haven't caught up with season 4 yet. I'm still working my way through, but from what everybody said, it is a fantastic show. So I'm really looking forward to catching up with it.
it's so much better. It's such a great apology for season 3. I'm gonna say that.
That's kind of why I stopped, because people said that season 3 really drops off, but I will watch it through just to get to season 4. So that's pretty cool. Big thank you again to Silverlock. Great to see you. Says there are so many other better games like Savage Worlds. They just released Savage Pathfinder, Shadowrun, Cyberpunk, GURPS, etc.
He's right.
Do you like
He is
these
right.
sorts?
Yeah, Dungeons and Dragons is not the only game out there. It's just the only game that most of these trendy people have heard of.
Mm-hmm.
And so, of course, that's the one that they flock to. And, on my channel, whenever I have my Dungeons and Discussions with Grim on Tuesdays, we talk about all kinds of games. We do mostly talk about Dungeons and Dragons. We do talk about old school Renaissance role-playing. But we do talk about other games. We talk about Cyberpunk. We do talk about Shadowrun, even though Grim hates that game. We've brought up various other games that do so much more and do so many things better. Like I am constantly preaching about Torg, which was my favorite, because it was so simple that anybody could pick it up very quickly, and you could literally play just about anything you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
So,
how have things changed as the games have progressed? Has it been? I've heard that things like the manuals have been changed, the character stats have been changed, even the way the races are looked at in these games are being changed. Is that true?
that is a recent development, but yeah. See, originally, kind of drawing on Tolkien, they had races for, the different species of creatures out there, like, elves and dwarves, and, well, they couldn't call them hobbits, so they had to call them halflings, because they tried to call them hobbits, and then they got sued by the Tolkien estate.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yep. So, but they originally used the term races to describe these peoples, the race of man, the race of elves, the race of dwarves. That's a Tolkien thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how they described them back then. And that was a term that was carried over up until recently, when people started getting picky about this and apparently stopped being able to tell the difference between fantasy and reality, and started equating fantasy species with actual human, ethnicities. And I'm like, these two things could not be more dissimilar. I mean, people were comparing black people to orcs, and I'm just like, I don't even know where that came from.
Yes.
I can't think of anything more horrible than that
Absolutely, yeah. I can't think of a more racist thing to say. And, they were trying to point fingers at the people who played the game. And really, as you say, we've had orcs and elves and dwarfs and all these races for so long. And there was never this issue before. It's like it was a manufactured rage.
It really does. It feels like manufactured outrage. The first time I heard people saying, orcs are black people, or orcs are code for black people, I said, well, okay, first off, I've been gaming for over 30 years, and I have gamed with men. I've gamed with women. I've gamed with transgender people. I've gamed with homosexual people. Anybody, all spectrums of all different shades of people that you want to name. I have gamed with those people over the years at many, many different tables. And not once in any game I have ever played with anybody did anybody ever equate a orc or any other race from a game with a real person or a real ethnicity in any way, shape, or form. That says so much more about those people than it does about us. And it's something that still infuriates me to this day, because it's a disgusting narrative, and I wish it had never been brought up. I wish I had never heard of it. It's just awful.
Absolutely, and it seems to be incredibly insidious as well. And this all came about around about the same time when they were saying that, you know, it was very unwelcoming, you know, and it's like they almost tried to tarnish the reputation of people who played these games, especially people who've been playing like yourself for many, many years. They tried to paint you as being kind of very exclusionary.
Exactly. And it's not that we never excluded anybody. We would have loved it if anybody came to play with us, you know, especially girls. I mean, you know, every once in a while you could find girls in a game, but, you know, they weren't necessarily your popular girls and stuff like that. You know, they were kind of, you know, your average person, not, you know.
And that seems to be where the haters come from. You know, it was the popular girls who really kind of looked down their nose at people who played games, who now want to get into it because it's cool or whatever. And they don't want to actually learn the rules or learn how to play the game. They want it changed to fit them.
Yeah. And I mean, it's funny. I have friends who are, you know, obviously my age, and they every once in a while, you know, they'll ask me about D&D, and I'll tell them, it's like, you know, hey man, if you wanted to play D&D with us back in high school, you should have. And they'll usually come back with a quip like, well, you know, we were too busy dating chicks back then. So, you know, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, well, we couldn't get girlfriends because we were the geeks and stuff. So.
Yes. That's why we were playing the games and enjoying it. Yeah, absolutely. Daniel, thank you so much. He says, T-shirt is so spot on. Sat by myself at the playground reading my RPG books. I was shunned as a kid. And now as an adult, those same bullies still won't let us have our loved hobbies. They invade and kick us out. Couldn't have said it better myself. Absolutely. And we've talked about this before, and it seems to be invasive of everywhere. We've talked about it in gaming, we've talked about it in comics, movies, TV shows, whatever it is that you have a passion for and that you've been a long time fan of, seems to have been kind of infiltrated. And I can see why people are so dejected, I guess would be the best way to put it, because they're seeing these things that they love being taken away from them, or people trying to take it away from them.
Yeah, and I mean, it's I hate to sound like an old fart, but my shelves are my DVD and Blu-ray extensive, or words hard today. My collection is really extensive.
Friday, it's fine.
It's Friday. It's Friday. But my collection is very extensive, and most of it is 80s. I think I was on Brandon the Anime Guy's show more than once to talk about anime, and usually the anime we talk about is 80s and 90s anime, because that's the stuff that I was really interested in and really enjoyed, and that's the stuff that we grew up watching and enjoying. And it's not to say that modern anime is bad. It's, you know, some of it's really fun and funny and everything, but it's so formulaic now. It's kind of like, you know, as I constantly tell people, it's like all the stuff that you enjoy now came from those older forms, you know. And it's the same with the movies. The movies back in the 80s were great. We had, you know, Charles Bronson.
Hell yes.
You know, we had Rambo. We had, you know, Schwarzenegger came out of the 80s. We had all these, you know, super ridiculous, you know, heroes who were, you know, I guess now they're considered problematic and offensive and, you know, testosterone fueled.
Yeah, toxic males, absolutely.
Toxic males. Yeah.
Let me just say a quick hello to Squeaker. Hello, sweetheart. She says, I didn't care. I was already a math nerd. Fantasy books. cryptology gaming books. It carried a thesaurus all the time, and I'm happy to have been weird. Amen to that, absolutely.
And Squeaka is one of the sweetest, nicest, best people that I know. She's been one of my friends for such a long time, and she's always been very supportive. She's a great person.
She is. Squeaker is like a little ray of sunshine whenever she's in the chats or on streams. We do love Squeaker very, very much. It's always good to see her. And on Twitter, I love to see the pictures that she puts up.
She's great. I love her so much. But...
You were talking about these masculine male role models and archetypes, and I also know that you're a fan of Robert E. Howard as well, aren't you?
Huge fan. I grew up reading Conan comics way back in the day when Robert Howard or Roy Thomas was writing them, and John Buscema was doing all the artwork. And I probably got that name wrong, but that's the Conan I grew up reading. And the funny thing is, it wouldn't be until much later, when I was a little bit more grown up and a little bit more able to really appreciate it, that I started to read the source material, which was, Robert E. Howard himself, the guy who actually created Conan. And he grew up in Cross Plains, Texas, which is about an hour and a half, hour away from where I live. So here was this awesome, creator that was, grew up not too far from where I live, in my own backyard, and I never even knew it for years and years. And now I absolutely love his stuff. I got to read all the original Conan stuff. I've been reading Solomon Kane. I've read his Bran Mac Morn and all of the other things. And he was so far ahead of his time for his writing. It's so eloquent. It's very verbose, because, he got paid by the word. But, as writing goes, it's so wonderful to read, because it really does pull you and your imagination into a time that doesn't really exist anymore. Him and Lovecraft both. I mean, it's like the way they could weave stories with their words. I mean, the way they could weave images and, create worlds in your mind. It's just, it's like a lost art these days. I mean, I'm not saying today's writers are bad or anything. It's just, the level of eloquence that those guys had is just, it is a thing of the past. I guess the term that people would use these days would be the archaic writing. But I love it. It was so full of prose.
I do too, and I do like Howard, but anyone who knows me knows I am a huge Lovecraft fan, and you're absolutely right. These guys, they just elevated whatever it is that they wrote, whether it was, high fantasy, whether it was cosmic horror, whatever that they kind of set their mind to. And it was so different to what we'd had before or what we have now. I think that's why people were so drawn to them. And I would have loved to have been able to have some of the weird tales, the collected editions that they did.
And speaking of that, right after the show is over with, I am going to be heading down to Robert E. Howard's days over in Cross Plains, which they have that every year about this time. And I'm looking forward to it. Paul Salmon is going to be down there, who wrote a really great book on Blade Runner, but also some great Conan stuff, or some stuff on Conan, I should say, and Howard. And I will, of course, get to tour the old house, which was restored and has been a museum for many years now. Plus, they restored the ice house in Cross Plains, and it'll be great to hang out with fans. And this particular Robert E. Howard Days is going to be focusing on Conan and the gaming angle. So there will be some Conan gaming there, and I might get to participate in some of that. Yeah,
that is awesome. Is this going over a weekend, or is it just the one day?
No, it's just a weekend. It actually has been starting up since yesterday, but it's going on in full today and tomorrow, and it's free.
Even better.
Yeah, you don't have to pay for anything. It's it's something that they do every year, and it helps generate revenue, for Cross Plains, the little town in Texas, and they're gonna have vendors and things set up to sell all kinds of stuff. So I'm kind of looking forward to it. So
That is awesome. Are you going to be doing a live stream or covering it, or are you going to talk about it when you get back? Because I would love to see what it looks like.
I will take plenty of pictures, and I will definitely talk about it when I get back. What I'm really looking forward to is Andre from Midnight's Edge could not make it this year, but he says that he will make it to next year's. And
Nice.
I am super duper excited for that, because I'm definitely going to go down there to see him when he's there next year.
Andre's a great guy. And I remember the show that you guys did. Fantastic talk that you had.
Oh man, it was awesome. It's so neat whenever you get to talk to somebody else who really enjoyed it as much as you do, or is into it as much as you are. And I am very fortunate. On Twitter, there are a lot of other folks who enjoy it, and I've gotten to kind of talk to more of them and gotten different perspectives on Howard and all the people who followed him to recreate his work or try to recreate his work. There's nobody who could recreate his work.
No.
And supposedly there's a Netflix Conan in the works. I'm a little trepidatious about it, but I have to hold out a little bit of hope that it's going to be good.
Hope springs eternal, absolutely. But you kind of have to balance that with it's Netflix.
I would. The one series I thought would have been really good to have a cable show, especially with all of the vampire and werewolf stuff that got so popular over the last decade, would have been Solomon Kane, the Puritan.
Yes, that would have made so much more sense.
You've got a really good English actor who played in the Solomon Kane movie that came out a few years ago. James, oh God, what was his name? Not McAvoy, but I guess he's an older guy now. But
yes, I remember the movie, but it didn't do as well, if I remember correctly, or as well as it should have done.
It didn't do as well as it should have done. But have you actually seen it?
I have seen it, yeah. I liked it. I thought it was great.
It was great. It was really pretty close to the source material. So I thought that should have been a series, to be quite honest, because they did a good job with that. And I wish the Conan movie with Momoa had done better. But,
yes, that seemed, again, like a cash grab. And I've got nothing against Momoa. I think he's a fine actor, but you just can't beat the Schwarzenegger ones that we had.
No, and even the Schwarzenegger ones, a lot of the purists will tell you were garbage because they got a lot of stuff wrong.
Just quickly, let me say thank you again to Silverlock. He says, Lovecraft fan, watch The Empty Man. They did not market it correctly, closer to In the Mouth of Madness. I will check that out. Thank you. Thank you for the recommendation. I
tell you what,
that.
Well, you already know my favorite Lovecraft story is At the Mountains of Madness. Because we did that show together, and that's a heck of a good story.
That was a great story. I always wanted Guillermo del Toro to actually make the film that he wanted to make with that, because he's a huge Lovecraft fan as well, and I thought that he, of all directors, really could have kind of brought Lovecraft to life, but it didn't happen. But maybe we'll get it in the future.
I think so. I think we'll have to we're gonna have to get over whatever creative hurdle it is that Hollywood is having right now, and whatever this obsession with pronouns and genders and stuff is.
Yes, and
I have nothing against anybody's genders, pronouns, whatever. That's never been an issue for me. It's just the way it's being handled. They're kind of just parading folks in front of people and pointing fingers and things, and they're not really taking to light the sensitivities that these people really bring. In my opinion.
I would agree with that, and I think technically Lovecraft is very much cancelled at the moment for his for his beliefs, let's say. But this really shouldn't come as a shock because he was kind of shunned for his beliefs, even back when he was alive. What he thought was very much out there and not really supported by anybody but himself. But I am still a huge fan of the work that he's produced. It's a case of separating the art from the artist.
I don't even see the point in canceling him. These days, the whole cancel culture thing seems to be to deny people a means of living and to depersonify them and everything else. And I'm kind of like, you're trying to depersonify and cancel a dead man who, as far as we know, doesn't really have much of a family left. If there's any left. I don't know that there is any Lovecrafts out there now.
No, as far as I'm aware, it's the Lovecraft Society that take care of pretty much all of his day-to-day and his body of work. But Lovecraft was he was happy for other people to use his work. It's why so many people can use Cthulhu, because it's in the public domain. And thank you, guys. Daniel says, here, I admire Lovecraft's work. I do as well. I've always been a fan. I've always been a huge horror fan, and cosmic horror is just one of those that I've always kind of been attracted to. It kind of skirts the blurs line between sci-fi and horror and fantasy, and it ticks a lot of boxes.
Indeed. And
yes, yep.
Howard and Lovecraft were pals. In fact, in the Howard Museum, they have correspondence between the two of them that is in books and in, I think I have a couple of his actual postcards there too.
Nice.
So
that is pretty awesome. Guys, we are unfortunately going to have to wrap it up now because I want to let T-Shirt Historian get on with his day and go to the fantastic weekend meetup that he's got planned. But quickly, let me just say thank you again. We've just got one more coming in from Silverlock. Thank you so much, Silverlock. He says, dang it, should have mentioned there's an actual Call of Cthulhu role-playing game talking about tabletop games as well. There is. I've never played it, but it does look cool, and I've always liked the Arkham horror games as well. Those look great.
Yeah, indeed. The Call of Cthulhu role-playing game's been out for a long time. It's written by Sandy Peterson, who is no longer... Well, no, Sandy Peterson's still with us. Never mind. What am I thinking? I'm thinking of Greg Stafford. He's no longer with us. But, yeah, it's been out for a very long time. And Cthulhu stat blocks and everything like that were in the old Deities and Demigods that was first edition published, and they've been reprinted in Pathfinder first edition, and there was a third edition Call of Cthulhu role-playing game as well. Cthulhu makes his rounds in the role-playing games, believe me. And can I recommend some Robert Howard? Yes, I absolutely can. Read Tower of the Elephant. It is an excellent story, and if you enjoy that, you will enjoy more Conan stories, especially my favorite, which is Beyond the Black River, mostly because it really does kind of remind me of Texas Hill Country in many ways. Solomon Kane is fun to read. Sailor Steve Costigan is fun to read. El Borak is fun to read. All of Howard's stuff is great, and the nice thing is he was such a prolific and wide range writer that if you don't like a particular set of stories about one character, you will likely find another one. I mean, if you like westerns, if you like high adventure stories, if you like boxing stories, you'll find something you like. Horror, he definitely did lots of that. And of course, the fantasy stuff. You will find something you like in Howard. You just kind of have to look around and see what grabs you.
Mm-hmm. I would absolutely second that. Yeah, he was so prolific with his writing that there is something for everybody. And there aren't many authors that you can really say that about.
Mm-hmm.
So guys, before we go, let me say a massive thank you to my co-host for today, T-Shirt Historian. So good to get to chat with you. It's been too long.
Thank you very much, Purple. And you're welcome on my show anytime you want. Anytime.
Absolutely. And pass on my thanks to Lord Baphomet as well for gracing us with his presence.
Oh, like he needs to get his ego buffed up anymore.
Thank you, Squeaker. Much appreciated. Before we go and we let people get on with their day, what else have you got coming up? Because I know you've got streams as well, haven't you?
I believe we will still have a Week in Geek tomorrow. If we don't, it will be because I went ahead and decided to go for a second day to Robert E. Howard Days. I think most of the fun stuff that I want to do is happening today, but they're also having stuff tomorrow. So that one kind of depends. But I know Tuesday we will have a Dungeons and Discussions, and my co-host Grim will be back. He's feeling better.
Nice. So good to see
that will be wonderful.
That is awesome.
And either I or Lord Baphomet we'll pop up into various people's streams. I know we typically hang out with Snowdub on Saturday nights. And I think I actually managed to get Snowdub. I managed to talk him into watching Remo Williams. So I believe Sunday night, if we can pull it together, we are going to have a Remo Williams YouTube watch party. Everybody's invited to come hang out with us. The movie's free. It's on YouTube. We're just going to hang out. We're going to sit and chat, discuss it, talk about it, and look at what a great 80s movie looks like. No CGI, no, bad writing, just lots of fun, great, stunt work done by professional stuntmen at the time, some funny acting, some great moments, and a racist Korean, because, you got to have that.
Zodwriter says Remo Williams is a classic. Absolutely. And guys, if you are not subscribed to T-Shirt Historian, please do. Huge thank you to the mods for putting the links out in the chat. Links are also in the description as well. He has a fantastic and criminally undersubbed channel. So please check him out. Salty says, great show. Thank you, Salty. Guys,
thank you, Salty.
We've got more stuff coming. We've got more paranormal that's being released. Salty has just released a review on his channel as well, which we've done. We've got more videos coming. I may or may not have a stream on Monday because obviously next week is going to be a very big week because I will be traveling and I will get to see a lot of you great people in the US, in Dallas. So that is the big thing that's going to be happening next week. So looking forward to it. But let me say a huge thank you to T-Shirt Historian. Huge thank you to everybody in the chat. Thank you to everybody who sent super stickers, super chats, and very big thanks to our new members. You guys are incredible, as always. Thank you, Zodrice, who says subbed. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
He has a fantastic channel. Guys, have a wonderful weekend. I know there is a lot of people streaming this evening and over the weekend, so lots of great stuff to see. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you all very soon. Thank you, guys, and take care.
Take care, y'all.